You ever feel like you're on a journey and you're like on this adventure to try to find something that keeps eluding you? It's all these booby traps. You keep getting stuck and you just don't know how you're going to win. Well, today we're going to talk about one of my favorite movies, which is The Goonies. But to me, it represents so many of the financial obstacles that we have to overcome. So, if it's your first time tuning in, or you've been here every week, it's your girl Saran. I help high income, high net worth women with their finances go from a place of chaos to calm, going from can't handle any obstacles sent to a place of calm, control, abundance, legacy creation, and money mastery. And so today, excited to talk to you about just the twists and turns of our finances, because I think we get stuck into it and we think it's so concrete and it's so this and it's so that, but we can always have fun with it, and we can see ourselves in so many different ways in our finances, and we can see our way through if we just put in the work. So I want to welcome you. Welcome to my Instagram fam, my Facebook fam, and my YouTube fam, because today we're going to talk about one of my favorite movies. If you ever heard of the movie, just type me in the chat or type me in the comments. Let me know if you ever heard of the movie. If you never heard of the movie, I don't know where you've been. You've been under a rock, because it is like an 80s cult classic, okay? It really is a cult classic. And if you've never seen it, maybe you can convince your kids to watch it, but you know they don't always want to watch the old movies. But it was one of my favorite movies growing up as a kid. So the Goonies is basically, it really is a financial story, because these kids literally risk their lives, go on an adventure to try to find some hidden treasure to save their homes from foreclosure. How real can that be? How do we not think about sometimes how our kids think they can save us as parents? And we often think we're shielding our children from our challenges and the things that we have going on, but they see us and they see what we're going through. And sometimes they think they can save us. And that's really one of the things that we have to think about too with our finances as we're teaching our kids about finances. While you may not be saying anything, you're definitely showing them something showing them about their finances, how to pay bills, how to handle obstacles, how to be creative and do different things. So just remember, whether you decide to teach your children about finances or not, you're teaching them anyway. And you can see that in not just this story that we're going to talk about today, but in every story out there that has some kid adventure, there's always some kid thinking they can save the parent. And I don't know why we think that as kids, and I don't even know why we make movies to make kids think they can save the parents. But at the end of the day, it really is about us as parents standing up, standing in the gap, and letting our kids know it's not their job to save us, especially not at 10, 12. And, as kids, maybe when we're older and we need somebody to drive us around because we're 85 and the people said you can't drive no more. But no sooner than that, right? So, but think about it. It's a metaphor, the financial journey. Our kids see that they're going to lose their home. And when kids lose their home, they lose their neighborhood, they lose their friends, they lose their school. And so that's why it was so important, even in this movie, where the kids went on this journey and they're like, wait a minute, we got to save the boondocks, because this is our home. This place in Astoria, Oregon, that was the place they called home. Everything they knew was there. And so they said they were going to take it into their own hands. So let's talk a little bit about the characters. If you joined me last week, I did a breakdown of The Wizard of Oz, and this week I'm doing a little breakdown of The Goonies in relation to our financial life and our wealth strategy. So Mikey, oh my God, who doesn't know Mikey? Mikey is the kid, the main kid on the show. He is a visionary. He is a leader. He represents the heart, because he just knew that as the heart and the dreamer and having the vision, he's like, there's no way we're going to lose our house. I'm going to figure out how to do this. And he comes with all these harebrained schemes to try to get things done. And he really pushes through because he has the big picture in mind. The big picture is we're not going to just save my house. We're going to save everybody's house. And we're going to get this money from One Eye Willie, because that's going to change everybody's life. And so That's how a lot of us are as women with our finances. How many of us have tried to save other people with their finances? Raise your hand. I'm raising mine on video on purpose, right? Raise your hand if you ever try to save somebody with your finances. That's us. That's women. We have a heart. We know that the work that we do, we're out here. We've got the degrees. We've made the six figures. We're doing really well, and we think we can save everybody. Well, sis, save yourself first. That's what I'll say. And the thing is that we have a good heart and we want to serve and we want to bring everybody along and we gather the truth. And that's what Mikey does in the movie. And we do that as women. I know so many women who, when we look at their finances, they're making six figures, them or almost six figures, or some are over, and they don't have any extra money to do anything because they're taking care of everyone else because they see a bigger vision and they're doing more. But how much of that do we need to redirect back to ourselves to make sure that we can have healthy finances, we can have happiness, we can secure our retirement, we can do the right thing to make sure that we're going in the right place. And then Mikey had a good heart in the movie because he was so enthusiastic. So one of the kids that I love, and there's nothing wrong with dreaming, and there's nothing wrong with helping people, but we have to have the big picture in mind. What's your big picture look like while you're out here trying to save everybody else? Is anybody trying to save you? So Brand, the brother, man, he was the protector, but he was trying to block the whole adventure. If you see the movie, he wasn't trying to let nobody go anywhere. He was blocking. I see you on Instagram. Say hey in the chat if you live on Instagram. But Bram was the big brother, but that was his personality type. He was told, take care of watch your brother while I'm gone. So that's what he was doing. But sometimes the protector can't save the other person from themselves because they're going to do it anyway. They're going to run around you. They're going to do all the things they need to do. And if you saw the movie, they wrapped him up in the little stretchy workout thing, pushed him over in a chair and went on about their business, right? So, but he's still bold. Even when he found him, he kept going on the adventure with them, and he exhibited leadership roles because that's what family does. He helped his little brother along the way. Now, Data, he was the coolest kid. He was very resourceful, but not only was he resourceful, he was an innovator. He innovated. He found different ways to do things. And as women with our finances, how many of us have found ourselves in a place where you don't quite know how you're going to get through it, but you said, I'm going to make it work. And we get creative and we get innovative and we get resourceful and we come up with all these grand plans, and some of them work and some of them don't, just like Data. Some of the stuff works, some of it didn't. But the reality is, as women, we're out here on our own creating stuff, and we're doing it from what we know. We're using limited resources to create. And really, you need to expand your resource pool and get with someone who's been there, done that. Get with people who are doing the things that you want to do with their finances, so that this creativity that you're coming up with can be expanded and it can extend a little bit further for you, where you have some long-term strategies that you may not have access to because you don't have the resources, or there are things that you're not licensed to know about, or there are things that are just out there that maybe you just don't have enough information. So keep being resourceful and keep being creative, but be sure to go ahead and get with some people who can help you solidify that. And that's what working with financial professionals will do for you. Now, Mouth, he's a negotiator. I call him the salesperson of the group, or the communicator, because he was going to talk his way into or out of whatever it was. And he even spoke another language, right? But that's a lot of times what we do in our financial journey. If we get the job interview, we can talk our way into the job. If we get the opportunity to speak or do an event, we can talk our way through that. And those types of women will always be able to create resources because they've mastered the art of communication, which is the highest level of value. When you talk about creating income, your communication skills is the top way for you to generate income in your life. And that's why you see so many creators now talking online like I'm doing right now. And you see so many creators creating channels and creating their stages and things like that. Hey, Natalie, I see you in the chat. Thanks for joining me live tonight. And Chunk. Now, this little kid, you think You wouldn't think that of him as a money personality, but because all he was doing was eating snacks and complaining about being scared. But really, he is an emotional financial spender. He everything was about how he felt and if it felt good or if it was good intentions. He couldn't stay on track because all he was thinking about was how he felt and how he could feel good. And he was just out there doing it. But he was a fun character. But again, that's a lot of us. We want to do the fun stuff, but we don't want to do the hard stuff. Now, a lot of people don't even remember this guy, his name, but you always call him, hey, you guys, because that was his like crowning scene in the movie, right? He comes sliding down, saves the day, but he is the ally that you underestimated, knowing that you need it, because you wouldn't have thought that this giant person was going to be the person that was going to help to save your finances or help bring you into the right place. He was underestimated and he was sidelined, basically chained up in the back, but he was the key to the whole win at the end of the game, at the end of the day. So, in financial terms, he represents women who have a difficult start. How many of us have had a difficult start? You face significant challenges, but through it all, you were able to level up. You're able to get your finances together. You're able to get the degree. You're able to get through college. You're able to pay for college. You're able to buy a house, car, get the good job. You're able to do all those things in spite of anything that might have been in your way before you got started. Now, the Fratellis, the good old bad guys in the movie, they really just represent all our fears, our doubts, our financial illiteracy or financial lack of knowledge, right? I don't like to use the word literacy when we talk about finances because we're literate, but we may not have an understanding. We may not have knowledge. We may not have had the practice of it, but they really represent the things you just don't know about finances that are going to just keep coming and coming and coming, no matter how many traps you set up, no matter how many blocks you put in place. You tried to get out of debt, you paid all, you got your tax refund, you paid off all those debts. Now you don't have any free cash flow, but you're debt free. But now something comes up, life starts lifing. So what you do? Go back and use the credit cards. That's the Fratellis. And then you end up back in the cycle of debt because you haven't put in the systems and you haven't accessed the financial resources that show you ways to leverage your finances, pay the debt, and still have free flowing cash. And that's really the big deal. So the Fratellis are a nuisance and they are persistent. They work together and they keep coming after you. It's all those life challenges. I couldn't even name all the challenges that we have with our finances that get us caught up and sidetrack us and take us off the path that we're going to. And then One Eye Willie, even though we never even seen this dude in the movie until the end with the one little patch, and he's a skeleton, but he is elusive. He's that dream of financial freedom because if you find One Eye Willie's treasure, it will solve all your problems. How many people felt like if I just win the lotto? Y'all know I'm from New York because I said lotto, not lottery. If I just win the lotto, all my financial problems will be gone. And then you win the lotto and it's $5. You still got financial problems, right? But the thing is that getting to that, but it's the journey. You went through everything. You went through hell and high water to get to this treasure. You risked your life. You worked hard. You sat in traffic. If you live in the DMV, you definitely sat in traffic. You sat in traffic. You sat in the bridge. You sat through the snowstorm. Don't let it snow 2 inches. Now you're sitting outside for 8 hours trying to get home. The challenge is just trying to get to and from the place that you're earning the money. But to get to this elusive financial freedom, which for many people, I don't think we define enough. I heard it once said that, and I shouldn't say I heard it once said, I was reading a book the other day and it was on manifestation. And it was talking about how to manifest finances. And in the book, the author explained that it's not about manifesting the money when you're in the process of creating it. When you're in the process of creating the vision or the dream of what it is you want, you don't focus on the amount of money that you want. You focus on the feeling that having the money that you desire will put in your life. So, for example, if you know that $100,000, I'm just throwing out a number, will create financial freedom for you. It'll pay off your car, it'll pay off your credit cards, it'll pay off your student loans, it'll put a few dollars aside for the kids for college or whatever it is, right? We're just using round numbers, right? That $100,000. You're not going to focus on the $100,000. What you're going to focus on is what that $100,000 means in your life. How are you going to feel knowing that all your debt is paid? How are you going to feel knowing that your kids have a few dollars set aside for them to go to school? How are you going to feel knowing you have an account set up that's earning interest for you and compounding over time that's going to allow you to grow the wealth that you want in the future? How does it feel knowing that not only those debts paid, but you have about 3 to 6 months of living expenses set up so that they can act crazy at work if they want to, because your stuff is covered, right? If something happened, you're not worried. You don't want to just walk out on your job because you don't have the total numbers to be free. But what kind of feeling would you walk in going to work knowing you choose to be there until you decide to go somewhere else because you already have the finances stacked up that will allow you to go to your next place seamlessly? What is the feeling that comes with that? How do you feel in your heart? Do you feel lighter? Does your head stop hurting? Do the pains in your body go away? Do you feel less stress? What is it? What is that feeling? And if we start to focus on what the feeling is that having the money will bring us and not the money, the easier it will be to manifest it and learn to expect it to come in unexpected ways. I think we put a lot of parameters on how the money comes, and like in this movie, but these are kids, they only had one way to get money, but they only really looked at, we got to get all the money. And it turns out that one little bag of marbles was all they needed to change their lives. I think we look and we set ourselves up and say, everyone says they need $1 million. I made a post, how much money do you need to feel financially free? Everybody want $1 million, but really, do you need $1 million? Have you done the math? What's the real number that you need to have some financial security and to feel safe in your finances and to be in a good place financially? And so if we get that real number, because using a big number like $1 million or $2 million or $5 million, and I'm not saying don't go after it at all. So let's be clear, that's not what I'm saying. But getting to that first milestone, having a real number that may be more achievable, will make more sense for you financially to get you there. But that one-eye Willie, that treasure, that financial freedom, that building a legacy, that is doable for most people if you just have the right guidance, if you just spend the time with people like myself and the people on my team to help you draft a plan. That's really what we're here for. So at the end of the day, the adventure of the movie, The Goonies, which I couldn't tell you how many times I've watched it. And it wasn't until this week that I decided to think, how does this tie into what I do with finances? But just remember this, Mikey is the visionary. He's that hopeful woman who, I work with women, so that's why women. He's that hopeful person who leads with their heart and their drive. Brand, the brother, he's action. He's action oriented and he's a risk taker, but he's willing to do whatever it takes to succeed and whatever it takes to protect his family, being his little brother and the friends. Data is so resourceful. He's an analytical thinker who finds so many creative ways to solve problems. And that's many of us when we're trying to solve our financial problems. Where there's a will, there's a way, right? Mouth, he is the embodiment of a communicator and a negotiator who he's going to leverage his relationships and his ability to talk to anyone at any time to generate wealth and generate money. Chunk, he is an emotional spender, but he's got to learn some discipline, but he has an enormous heart and he's super loyal. And so he's someone you want on your team. Sloth, hey, you guys, he just symbolizes those of us or those of you who feel like maybe you've been underestimated, but you have but you have some untapped financial potential that I'm here to tell you we can tap into and we can make it happen. But don't forget the Fratellis. There's always a Fratelli in your life. The obstacles that we have to overcome to reach our real success. If you're trying to build your credit, all of a sudden you got a big expense that you only got cards to use and now you got to use your card. but you needed your credit balance to be down to 30% because you were trying to do something different. You're trying to buy a house, a car, or get some business credit, or whatever it is you're doing. A Fratelli moment, right? Or you got the house, you got the car, but somehow you can't figure out how your window broke. And you got to spend $1,200 to fix the window because it wasn't covered, or your deductible is high on your house. Again, a Fratelli moment. We all want to look at our finances and understand no matter what kind of financial plan we put in place, there'll always be some Fratellis or some Fratelli-like instance that's going to come and challenge our finances. And the question is, do you have the right team with you to help you to overcome those obstacles and get out and come out on the other side and win with your finances? And so I'll offer you the opportunity. You can always join me in my community on Facebook, Sister Sense. I can drop it in the link, or you can send me a DM or make a comment me below, and I'll send you an invitation to the group. But I want you to know that as life lives, if you have the right financial plan and the right financial team, you can overcome all of those obstacles and do it without killing yourself and not being stressed, overburdened, or feel like you can't do it and you have to always do it alone. And so, like the Goonies, you always got to lean on your friends, lean on your teams to save the neighborhood, to save your family, to save your friends. But most of all, to make sure you save yourself with your finances first. So hopefully you enjoyed my story this week of my finances. In the next couple of weeks, I'll be having some more guests come on, as I have been doing the last couple of weeks. They're all I'm working on some amazing people to come in and talk to you, to help with your finances, to help with your mindset and your health. Because guess what? Health, wealth, and mind, they all go together. If your health is out of order, that impacts your finances. If your mind is out of whack, guess what? You know that impacts your finances. And if your finances is out of whack, it impacts your health and your mind. So how are they not related, right? So at any rate, I'd love for you to support me. If many of you know, I do have a best-selling book on Barnes & Noble, Destiny Expose, Leading Ladies Edition. You can get a copy for $1.99. Literally, you can get the ebook copy on barnesandnoble.com. Would love for you to get that book. Enjoy it. It talks about my journey to leadership and how it's allowed me to help so many women with their finances, going from a place of chaos to calm, going from a place of learning how to financially save myself, mentally save myself, and grow to the person to be able to be here. It also features 13 other leading women in the DMV area who talk about their their ability to lead from so many different places. We had judges, lawyers, brigadier generals, all that are in there talking about it. And at the top of the hour, I was remiss. I did not share this week's affirmation. And this week's affirmation is, I am a creative force. And as a creative force, you can create anything you decide to put your mind to and focus on with strength, power, and agility. So I bid you a goodbye on Monday, and I'll see you again. I'm here every Monday at 8:30 p.m. sharp. And in the coming weeks, if you follow my YouTube channel, my Facebook page, or my Instagram, I will be posting a link to join me for a live financial masterclass where we go into the depths of some financial strategies you can use. The first one is going to be on debt elimination, how to put together a plan to eliminate your debt for once and for all. And if you want to learn about debt elimination, put debt elimination in the comments, DM me debt elimination. I will send you a link to register. It will be on Sunday at 6 p.m., but you do not want to miss this. If you have any kind of debt, and I don't understand how people don't consider their home a debt and their car a debt, but it's a debt. And student loans and credit cards and medical bills and lawyer bills and all these things that are piling up on us, and they're creating stress in our lives. So we're going to be talking about debt elimination on Sunday. We're going to dig deep. I will not be streaming that live on YouTube. I will be doing that on Zoom. You will be able to ask questions and get your questions answered individually. So you'll have some anonymity, and it won't be on the public site. But I'm excited to have you join me on Sunday at 6 p.m. So with that is all I have this Monday. I look forward to seeing you again next week. So peace, love, and light. Let's get your money right.